everyone, Jess here from JobStream AI with my co-founder and business partner Adonis McReynolds.
Hello.
And today's video is actually really informative and helpful. We wanted to record a video to let you know exactly what you get when you sign up and how the process works.
Absolutely. Most people today are starving for information. They always want to see everything that they can about a company and its processes before they move forward and decide to become partners. So let me go ahead and share my screen, show you what we've been working on and how exactly we go through the process of helping you secure either your first client as a consultant or your first job as a job seeker, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think you can see it now. And here we go. So, JobStream AI operates in phases. Okay, this is really important to understand and to know. We are all about making sure that we get you a quality position. So immediately from the jump, you're connected with both Jess and I. You get our cell phone numbers, you get our email address, anything you need. We're here for you to make sure that we're be able to provide answers, guide you through certain aspects of what we're doing, and then of course, like if anything comes up where it's like an emergency, we need to make an adjustment, or there's like questions that we have for you, we'll reach out to you most certainly and make sure that we get all that info from you. Now, each phase that we have has a rule, okay, and that is that we accomplish the objective. You can see the objective over here. If you can see my cursor, you can see the objective for the first phase of the first package: oversee client identification of all non-negotiables of the offer, work conditions, work scope, identity, and mission of candidate. Now, regardless of which package you choose, and we have three different ones. If you've looked at our website, you'll see that we have what's called the guide, we have what's called the done for you, and we have what's called the VIP. Okay, each of these have different levels of service that we provide, but each and every one of these packages has what's called a foundation phase, which is absolutely essential for your growth as a person and professional, on top of our understanding of exactly what you're looking for so we can help you identify it. So, included with this is non negotiables. People need to be dead set committed to what they're pursuing. And if you don't have a non negotiable in terms of your work conditions, work scope, your identity, you could be pretty much anywhere all over the map when it comes to your job search. And that's a problem. We don't want you necessarily applying for 30 different types of positions and not really establishing any continuity with any of the roles that you're applying for. So that's the first step in the phase. And the first objective is to identify what is your mission, what is your identity, what are the non-negotiables of your work schedule, your work conditions, the scope of your work. What do you want to get paid? What is your offer, right? So like if you're a consultant, what do you want to get paid? What are you offering in exchange for a specific price? Is it irresistible? Is it something that people will find to be a no-brainer? This is important to identify for us because we believe that it should be a distinguishable, irresistible offer that you have as a consultant. And as a job seeker, you should also know, like, what is the minimum amount of money you would accept to come into a role, right? So all of this is found out in the foundation phase and is incredibly important for your development as a professional. Additionally, we have other objectives in the first phase, such as overseeing the building of your client dream list or your, dream job list. We also create what's called the hot list. Now we have a video on our YouTube channel called our basically it's our hiring intent data, right? It's like our special search capability, utilizing search engine activity to identify companies that are not typically posting online. These companies are hiring in secret, and we just so happen to know because we're tracking data that they don't even know we're tracking, right? So that's, some of them know we're tracking it, but others don't. So we have the ability to essentially come up with an entirely different list from your dream list and basically fuse the two together, and everyone on the hot list is going to be companies that you're interested in, but they're just secretly hiring. So you could say that they're the hottest and best companies to apply for right now for someone in your specific position, whether you're a consultant or a full-time job seeker. Now, Jess, you can speak a little bit to coaching people on how to use the tool that we're using. You want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, obviously we want you to know what you're doing. So we book meetings for you. I think it depends on the package that you book, the amount of meetings you get, but it's minimum three. And then upwards from there. And on those calls, we work with you to show you exactly how what tools we use, how to use them, why we use them. So our whole process is really about full transparency and giving you the tools and teaching you how to use those tools to maximize your job search process. So it's a really important part of our foundation phase. And it's important for any of the packages you do, but especially package number one, because that is just the guide. So that's kind of like all we'll be doing, like in a way, like obviously we're always there for you and answering questions, but it's really about coaching. But even in the other phases where we do a lot for you, it's still good for you just to understand like what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we use these tools, and like
Exactly. And to clarify as well, we allow for 3 scheduled Zoom calls each week, and they're up to an hour each. So on average, 3 hours a week that we'll do for each person. And then in terms of how many calls we will do before we move on to the next objective or the next part of the phase, we have to accomplish the objective. So let's say you've done 3 calls, but we still don't understand your identity. We're going to need more calls to figure it out, because until the objective is complete, there's no point in a third a video call with a different objective, right? So that's the rule that we have, is every single call that we have is for the purpose of accomplishing this objective. Once the objective is complete, this new objective becomes our mission on the next call. Okay, so even if it's 4 calls, 5 calls, however long it takes, each objective must be complete before we move on to the next part of the phase. Video call review. So if you are basically doing the guide, we will then optimize your resume and LinkedIn profile after we've established what your identity is, your list, all that kind of stuff, because we think that the resume and LinkedIn should reflect what you've chosen in the prior 3. Okay. Um, and so this is going to be a little bit different than in the Done For You package, which is our most popular one. In the first phase, um, we review all stages of your search, or the information that we have, for accuracy and optimize the resume and LinkedIn profile. But let's say our highest package, the VIP, we actually will not only go through the process of reviewing your stuff and renovating your LinkedIn profile, but then we implement a strategy together in preparation for social media content strategy and creating a marketing podcast for your video resume. This is the way, guys, in terms of finding out how to really make the most out of out of phase one. If you've got VIP, you're gonna want to make sure you have all the stuff in order for your video and for social media content, and that's something that Jess will help with too, right?
yeah, absolutely. That's my wheelhouse. And so what we'll do is we'll come up with your core pillars. So, for me, let's say as a marketing person, let's just as an example, my core pillars could be like, oh, Instagram, TikTok, creating content, whatever. And then we'll come up with the different subtopics under those core pillars, and then from there we can create a 6 month or 12-month strategy, so you can have posts going at least 3 times a week, to help populate with relevant keywords, help attract recruiters, and just position yourself as an expert in the field so you get the job you want.
Yep. So you get the general gist. Like for each of these packages, you're getting a heavy amount of assistance with the foundation, making sure you're at where you want to be. First video call tends to always be about your information, non-negotiables, work conditions, and work scopes. Second video or objective is always about the dream lists, activating the outreach automation hub, and facilitating transfer of credentials so we can commandeer and do the outreach and job search for you. And then the third video call is, or fourth, depending on which package you choose, is going to be about making sure that everything we've done prior is accurate, and then, of course, implementing together what the strategy, of course, is going to be. The second phase, Jessica, do you want to kind of start off by explaining what we're doing here in phase 2?
Yeah, so phase two is exciting because then obviously that's when things start rolling. So that's when we're going to launch your campaign. You're going to start getting your reports. We're going to keep reviewing your hot list, making sure it's consistent to the type of companies we're reaching out to on your behalf. And then, of course, we're going to see what interactions you're getting, what kind of responses are you getting, how is your social media performing, what type of performance. So that's where we really go into the data analytics, refine. So we're constantly testing, seeing what's working, seeing what's not working, doubling down on what's working, and fixing what's not working. And yeah, like I said, this is the most exciting phase because you're going to start seeing results. You're going to start getting people interested in scheduling interviews. So that's really what the first video call is going to be about, just to get that campaign launched and show you how like we're going to start with the stuff, and then slowly we're going to start getting the analytics coming in and refining from there.
That's right. And it's all pretty self explanatory. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that we get you the interview. So, weekly reports, cold call performances. We do offer cold calling on the VIP package. Third video call and for phase two is weekly report and contact interactions. So you're never lacking in terms of your ability to know what's going on, and that's really important for us. Now, phase three is also very exciting because hopefully we'll be able to actually coach you up on your interview, right? So you get an interview through us, then through us you'll also be able to understand what is going on with this company that's reached out to you. Who are the people? What is their situation? How much money are they making each and every year? What has their churn rate been like? Meaning, how many people have left the company versus joined on? What is the company's market position? What is their product and service? Have they made any new deals? Is there anything about them in the news? Pretty much anything you'd want to know about the company, we would have access to through our data partners. And once you land that interview, it becomes really easy to decide, okay, now that I've had the full scope of information in front of me about this company, do I want to work for them, right? So that's far better than flying into a company that you're interested in, but you don't really know too much about, right? So there are no more phases. There's these three phases. You have the foundation phase, you have the outreach phase, then you land the interview, and we help you with the training on that. We'll help you with offer negotiation if that's something you need as a full-time job seeker or even as a consultant. We can help you with packaging that, and then completion of the mission, which is like the whole point, right? The reason why you use JobStream AI is because ultimately you want results, right? And that's something that we can certainly do for you upon signing up. And usually the time frame, which most people ask about, is 60 to 90 days. That's when we intend to make sure that you've got an interview in hand and you're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty transparent, it's pretty straightforward. We're always about transparency and communication, so you're never lost, you're never thinking, oh, when's the next step? Oh, what am I supposed to do? There's always check-in points, there's always video calls with us. You know exactly the next step, you know exactly what you need to do, and then you're going to get that job. So that's the point of our process, and that's why we have it laid out that way for any of the packages that you pay.
And each and every week we'll have a call to make sure that we're hitting our responsibilities and crossing off all of our T's and dotting all of our I's, right? Because it's a fishbowl operation. Usually when people observe what we do, it's on their accounts so they can see exactly the types of messages we're sending, the type of videos that we're uploading into different sequencing stuff that we do for VIPs, and so on and so forth. So thanks for taking the time to be with us and learn a little bit more about our process. You can definitely learn more about us on our other videos or visit our website. Any other closing thoughts, Jess?
No, that's it. I guess the last closing thought is just that there is a little bit of homework on the client's part, so we can't move to the next phase if you don't complete it, as you mentioned. But I just want to like stress that. So just make sure you're doing your little bit, and then we're 100% showing up and doing our bit. And once you complete everything and we review it and we love it, we're gonna move on to the next phase. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and visit us at jobstreamai.com.
See you soon.